a real frustrating, delicate balance to put in place. I think the evidence is pretty obvious that, as you are not treating water, you do have side effects that happen to it that, me personally, I think whenever there is a unwarranted discharge of sewage on behalf of the city, we had one in St. Pete last year. I think when it happens, I think whoever's responsible should be buried under the jail. I think sometimes the politicians that are those local governments who are not making the necessary infrastructure investments have got to be held accountable. Because all those have got to be part of a long-term way to ensure that we have clean drinking water forever. I know, it's a little creepy to think that the average glass of water has been through 7 different people, but you know what? It is what it is. We've got a state that just gross you out. But in saying that, we've got to be good stewards. We've got to be good stewards, and there is science that backs up the best management paths that we need to invest in. Anything else? Hey, I'll do one more. Go ahead.
Jimmy, can you elaborate real briefly about the transition between the high-tech and low-tech that you were talking about? You were saying there's a transition between high-tech and low-tech earlier in the state.
So, well, you mean as in job creation? I'm not sure where I'm at.
Yeah, you were talking about
5 minutes ago, might have been 2 years ago, maybe sometimes. So, I mean, you definitely, look, unemployment's under 4% here in Florida right now. Would I rather see, manufacturing and some of these other jobs be part of our, we've got a huge service industry in the state of Florida. And it is, we have got a state as we have more and more demands on our healthcare system. All those elements that we have to have bodies do. We've got an unemployment under 4%. Sometimes when unemployment goes below 4%, that 4% is just people that don't want to work. And it happens. They have found a bandwidth in life where they're very happy. They have either saved well, but they make up part of that number that doesn't make them a real active part of the workforce. But in saying that, there's always those challenges that we fight the balance of economic development. And as other states have here in the Midwest, it's real attractive to be able to build a distribution center just because of the logistical routes of being able to get your goods to market. And this is where part of the challenge that happened in Florida, as we have made sure, especially starting off with Miami, is both post-Panamax depth for any of those distribution ships that come through from the Panama Canal that have a much larger ship, again, bringing goods from outside of our country for distribution. That doesn't necessarily equate directly to manufacturing jobs in Florida, but it is going to bring jobs in Florida as those products have to make it to the end user. Some of the challenges that are taking place, though, is as we're making this, we've got 20 deep water ports in the state of Florida. And that's 20 children that want the attention of state tax dollars. So as we try to prioritize, the good thing about it is these ports, they work well together. Those goods that come through, they all respectful to know who has the logistical advantage. And here's a trivia question that if anybody can answer, I'll give you a gift card to Captain Anderson's. Why is Panama City called Panama City? That doesn't work. You got to tell me why it's called. Yes, sir.
It was because of trade between the Republic of Panama and Panama City.
But there's a reason. That's right. But there was a reason why.
Can I get a discount card?
You do get a discount card. So here's the part that's going. I think it'll even stun you. Panama City, Florida, changed its name and a branding. It used to be City of St. Andrews. It changed its name to Panama City to have a marketing advantage over Panama City, Florida. But here's the deal. We are 21 miles closer to the Panama Canal Zone in Panama City than any other deep water port in the state of Florida. And you're going to think to yourself, how can Miami be further away than Panama City? When you get home, or go look at your phone, go pull up Google Maps. And when you come out of the Panama Canal Zone, you have to go all the way around Cuba to get to Miami. Panama City's a straight shot. So, I mean, every single deep water port as dawn has come around, 100 years ago, have tried to find a way how to have the best mousetrap to be able to take advantage of the economic commerce that canal would generate. Yeah, that's close enough for a gift card. I'm good with that. So, anyway, it's again, it's a real honor to be with you. I'm happy to come back anytime you want. One thing I'll say about Rocky that he is honestly the last guy that'll ever let you down. Did anybody not get that? Let you down? Okay.
You got a great restaurant.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. We hope you'll return and join us again.
Absolutely.
I'd like to ask Russ Dawes to please introduce our guest and visiting Rotarians.
Thank you, President Kay. It's an honor and pleasure to welcome you all to our great club today. We don't have any visiting Rotarians, so I get to introduce our guests. And when I introduce and welcome you, please remain standing until I'm done. We have Joe Davis and Kim Kelly, both who are guests of Ellie Davis. There we go. Edward Pankowski and Catherine Miller, who are both guests of Mary Pankowski. Bob Earhart, who's the guest of Will Spicola. And Tamika Collins, the guest of Donald Parks. Welcome. Thanks for coming.
And I would like to ask Nancy Stepina Robinson to join me at this time.
I'm going to lift you up, Rocky. I'd like to ask Stephen Everett to join us. And the sign, 100% Paul Harris Fellow. That is a huge, big deal. Thank you, Don Parks and others who were part of all of that. And this, Stephen Everett is one of the reasons why we continue to be almost always 100% Paul Harris Fellow, which is a huge, big deal in the Rotary. So join me in recognizing Judge Stephen Everett as one of our newest members. He's only been in the club for about, I believe, 3 months. So we don't have a lot to talk about relative to his performance within Rotary, but he sure has a lot of professional expertise. He's a judge. He was appointed to the Leon County bench in 2016 and was subsequently elected in 2018. He's been elevated to the Second Circuit bench by Governor DeSantis in March of 2019. And currently on the circuit bench, Judge Everett presides over the juvenile and probation divisions. He has presided over the Leon County Driver's License Clinic, is a member of the statewide Florida Commission on Access to Civil Justice, and is an active committee member for the Florida Supreme Court and Florida Bar. He's a graduate of UF and received a law degree from LSU. So join me in thanking Judge Everett for becoming a member of all
Welcome to all our guests. We hope you'll enjoy your time of fellowship and join us again soon. And I need to recognize our head table at this time. Elle Davis is our club host. Elle Davis has resided in Tallahassee for 30 years. She graduated with a bachelor's degree in marketing from Florida State University and has a background in business, information technology, and finance, and has always held a sense of purpose to better the lives of others. While at FSU, she was a member of the co-ed service fraternity Alpha Phi Omega, which shaped her belief it's important to give back to the community. She rings the bell with Salvation Army, participates in the Second Harvest Backpack Program, and donates items to the Tallahassee Animal Services Center. Rocky Vivas, our president of Vivas Funeral Homes in Tallahassee and Bristol, Vivas Harvey Young Chapel in Crawfordville, North Florida Crematory, and Capital Monuments. His interest in presidential history, and more particularly presidential funerals and grave sites, probably began with his first visit to Arlington National Cemetery. He has visited every presidential grave site and most of the presidential libraries. He is married to Patty Brewster. They have 2 children and 6 grandchildren. The invocation today was offered by Jim Tinkowski. Dr. Jim Tinkowski is a psychotherapist, workshop presenter, and university instructor. He started teaching mindfulness, meditation, and our effective stress release methods in universities and conferences 35 years ago. He will be presenting at the 2020 Rotary World Conference Center in California. He has been the club chaplain, the chair of the Peace Committee, chair of the Committee Against Human Trafficking, and a member of the International Services Committee. He has been a Salvation Christmas bell ringer, a regular volunteer for the Homeless Coalition Meals, a mentor for the Girls and Boys Club, and food packer for the Second Harvest Food for Students. Russ Dawes introduced our guests visiting Rotarians. Mr. Russell Dawes is the president and CEO of the Tallahassee Museum. He serves as past president of the board of the Florida Association of Museums, is past chairman of Leon County Tourist Development Council, and serves on the executive committee on the Florida Restaurant and Lodging Association Tallahassee chapter as secretary, and on the executive committee of the Big Bend Scenic Byway Corridor Management Entity. He has also contributed board and advisory services to the Claude Pepper Foundation, 4-H Girl Scouts, Junior League, and several national museum boards, civic organizations, and publications. And our own Marvin Goldstein on the piano, and our song leader today, Marshall Cassidy. Would you lead us in song?
Sure. I'll be glad.
Hello. All right, y'all. This is fun, and this is in honor of our distinguished former Rotarian J. Ray Brown, Edelweiss. And I think you know it. We don't need books. So we can't sing good, sing loud.
But I was reminded on that trip that Edelweiss was the song I sang to my girls when they were little, and it was really a meaningful trip, and I appreciate you sending us so much. And to close, let's see, I'm a little out of structure here. I don't think I missed anything, but I do want to let you know, I want to tell you how much I appreciate those of you who've responded to my solicitation to give us input for our strategic planning meeting, which is going to take place this Saturday at the Southern Scholarship Foundation. If you haven't sent us anything, it's not too late. We'll have another day or two to compile those. And if you would, join me in reciting the four-way test of the things we think, say, and do. Is it the truth? is it fair to all concerned? Will it build goodwill and better friendships? Will it be beneficial to all concerned? And please recite the new Rotary theme for the year. Rotary connects the world. Nature.
Enjoy dining with you guys.
We're going to have to use it.
Hey, I can exactly see a moment